I'm delighted to be able to welcome the wonderful Sid. He's someone that I had the pleasure of meeting while we were both working at the mill. Gosh, quite a few years ago at this point, and we've since kept in touch. And I'm really delighted that he's here with us today because he has some incredible projects to share with you all. One in particular of which I'm really excited for you all to see. So with that said, I'd love, Sid, welcome. I'd love for you to
Thank
sort
you.
of take time to perhaps introduce yourself, maybe talk about your story. For those of you who are with us, Sid is pretty much a visual storyteller. So he's a storyboard artist, he's a character designer, he's an animator. He can do a myriad of different things, and he's a really great person to ask questions to about how to break into this space. And so yeah, I'll let you take it away, Sid.
Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here among all of you, and I welcome you to this Q&A, and I'll be sharing some a short animated uh, video with you. Um, a little about me. I was born in Iran, and I started doing storyboards for films, and then animation, and then I directed some animations myself, and then I moved to the US in 2013, um, 7 years ago, and I went to school. I went to Digital Media Arts College in Florida, and then I got another job. I left the school for that time, and I started again working as a storyboard artist. And after a year, I think I moved to New York and started again as a storyboard artist, graphic novels, concept designs, character art, and here I am. This is pretty much the story.
And actually, what brought you to the U.S.?
Uh, the reason was some art forms, like if you're a painter, you could do it alone in your studio, but if you're an animator or you do storyboards, that needs a level of that art form should be like an industry in that country. A lot of my friends that are also storyboard artists, they come from everywhere, and the type of filmmaking and visual storytelling that needs pre-production, visual development, and storyboards, it needs a level of production that needs that. Most of the like very independent uh, art films, they don't have the budget for this type of the need for a storyboard artist, or also some of the filmmakers, they prefer the more independent filmmakers, they prefer not to do storyboards and do it like a more artistic cinema. They want to explore. They don't want to plan for anything ahead.
Mhm.
But in the US, it's very the animation industry is pretty much what what drawn me to the US.
Wonderful. I'm quite conscious you worked on an incredible animation recently, and I'd love for you to share that with our participants, and perhaps you maybe talk through the creative process a little bit and how, because our theme for this month is that of storyboarding and previs, and I'd love to hear how your role sits within the production and post-production side of things.
Sure. Yeah, this animation I'm going to share with you. It's called Peria's Mask. Uh, I got commissioned to do this short animated film. It's about masks, and the target audience is mostly young people in India, and in general, it was for the Indian audience. The writer was Indian, and the producers, they wanted to do this, and also a small comic book that comes with this film. And I'm going to share this. You have also the link. You can check it out later, but I'm going to share it now with you.
Yes, for those of you for whom it might skip a little bit on your respective workstations, Sid and team have provided the link. for you as well.
All right, can you guys see my YouTube screen? Okay.
I wish we could go back in time, Ma. We used to go to the park together and play, but now I barely see you.
Don't be afraid. I'm Priya, your friend, and this is Sahas.
Why are you sad, Meena?
I miss my friends. I have no one to tell my feelings to.
Come on, let's go on a journey. Have you ever been on a flying tiger? Sometimes we have to be strong, so those who love us can also be strong.
That's my friend Leena's kite.
Let's say hi to your friend.
Hi. That's my Ma. She works as a nurse here.
Your ma has sacrificed her time with you to take care of those who need help because of the virus. I am sure she misses you too, Meena. But right now, she is the hope these patients need.
Priya, we need to stand together and bring about the change we want to see.
That's how we can beat the virus.
Continue to wear a mask for your safety and mine.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Sid.
All right. That was the. It was supposed to be 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then it turned to a 2-minute piece. And
How did that affect your timeline when you extended it from 1:30 to 2 minutes? How much extra you have to put in?
we actually, when the script they sent me, it was pretty long, and I did storyboard the whole script, and we realized when we made the animatic, which will share with you, we realized it was longer than the project that they ordered us to do. But then some of the shots, the producers, they thought they loved some of the shots, and they wanted to keep them, so it extended a little bit for 30 seconds.
That's great.
And a little about, as you know, first is the script, which they sent us the script, and then the first thing you have to do is making. Sorry, the first thing is to have an idea, like a visual idea based on the descriptions that you read on the script. Is to visualize the characters mostly, and I started with the main characters, the little girl Meena, her, and I started with these sketches. This one on the left was the first sketch I did, and then we landed on this one, and but it evolved based on the actions that she wanted to do. It evolved, and then we landed on what you saw in the film, her. And as you can see, this is a 2D animated film, and it's pretty much all the frames are drawn by hand on the computer. In the old days, they called it cell animation. It was drawn on cells, but we did like a digital cell in Moho. That was a software that was animated in. And this step of the way and the artworks that you're seeing, they call it model sheet, which you do facial expressions for your character to define when she's sad, how does she look when she's sad, or when she's excited, how does that gonna look. And then in the middle of the character design process, I realized we have to do masks. We have to draw a mask on everybody's faces. So we lost a lot of that expression. So we tried to emphasize more on the eyes because we lost the lips, and we tried to compensate that in the eyes and more in the general body language of things. This character, Piria herself, she was designed before, and then I did another book for them. It was for another comic book, and I had to simplify that for the purpose of 2D animation, because if it has too many components, it's hard for the animators to do it frame by frame. And if the hair are realistic and it has too many details, it's hard to keep the consistency, and you need that for the animation to be smooth. And we landed on this for Piria with the mask and without that, and the process also, and a lineup for everybody. So you know the proportion of each character in relation to the other characters. The mom, Mina, the girl, Piria, and the two little friends. One of them got removed from the script because it was too long. But we combined what he does, this character, with this one. Like she's writing a letter to her grandmother. And the lineup also, the tiger. The tiger also, we wanted, the tiger was one of the more challenging characters because all of these lines, and since we were doing it by hand, the consistency of those lines, that was, I heard a lot of complaint from the animators about the tiger. So we simplified it more, and also the fact that this film and the comic book that I will share some pages of it with you, it was geared towards more younger audiences. So that was the graphic we chose, and we were inspired by Miyazaki a lot, as you can remember. And we wanted to do exactly like a very 2D animated film, and this was like a dream opportunity to try that. I wanted to do that forever, and this was a opportunity for that. Mina, and I think I did some poses for Mina too. Some sketches. Thinking process when you're telling a story visually, the thinking process is all going to happen on paper. So as I was thinking, how is she holding the kite? So I did some sketches of that, and then again we landed on the way she, looking at some references, we realized they use the kite like that. And after you have the character designs, you will move to do storyboarding. Do you guys have questions about the character design part?
To Sid's point, if anyone wanted to unmute and ask Sid a quick question, that would be all right as well.
I think I have a question. Oh, sorry, Brandon, I cut you. But my first question would be like, You seem like you worked on the characters individually first, and then you moved on to the storyboarding. Were you given a prompt first when you were like asked to work on this project together, like a kind of general brief to know, oh, these are the characters I want to create, or were you already given that?
Great
Yeah,
question.
the description of the project was I'm responsible for directing and doing character design and storyboards. A lot of the, when you're in a studio, that doesn't happen. You can hire a lot of people, but when a project is a small project and it's not a studio production, you end up doing a lot of it. If you check a lot of like student films or independent short animated films, you see the same name repeats a lot. So this was one of them.
Brandon, you had a question.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask, how many, were there a lot of iterations for like the designs of the characters?
Fortunately, no, except the mask part. Most of the time, the second draft of the sketches, they would approve that and they loved it, because I know that the producers, and the reason they chose me to do this project was because they were familiar with how I approach visually. So that went smoothly, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you have some clients that they're not, they're sometimes they don't know what they want, and that leads to a lot of back and forth and edits. But this one was very smooth.
Sid's putting that very nicely.
You
There's
know?
quite a lot of back and forth in many circumstances.
Exactly. Yeah.
Does anyone else have any other questions before he shares the storyboards for this project? Some good questions to start. So Sid, I'll let you share those storyboards, and I'm sure that'll generate some more interest from the crowd on the Q&A front.
Okay. So we start with the thumbnails. As you can see, there's the first version of the thumbnails, which are, again, like thinking on the paper with drawing. So these are the thumbnails, and they're, I don't spend more than maybe 2 minutes on each of these, because if you get caught up in the details, you'll lose the general look on the storytelling front. So these are some notes for myself to, and the second version was this one, which is we ended up doing. And as you can see, some of the shots are different from the final film, and this stage is very important, and every visual idea is going to form here, and then when you're starting to draw them and polish them a little more, make them more recognizable for the other members of the production team, then you can improve these ideas. But all of them, they will start here. And one other upside of doing very rough sketches is it will allow you to project what you want on a loose drawing. If it's final and it's rendered and you can see every detail, your mind is going to be locked up on that. You're going to fall in love with the details, the ornaments of the door, and then you might forget that that's not a dynamic shot. And also with some clients as well, when you do the first draft, that's a very good idea to keep them loose, so they can project their own imagination on a shot, and they can see if they love it or not. This is the second page of it. As you can see, a lot of them remained in the final film, except the hospital scene. We didn't know what a hospital yard will look like, but we ended up, since we have this flying tiger, we decided that the Tiger King can go on the balcony and they can look inside in this shot, look inside the hospital, and she can see her mom. And in this, also in the thumbnail stage, you're problem solving a lot. So in the script, we knew that we cannot have the girl go inside the hospital because it's not logical. So we knew the position of the little girl and her mom is going to be behind the glasses, and we emphasized that because that was very like a key visual idea for the whole film. The she's missing her, although she magically she's now in the hospital and she can see her mom is the front line workers that they're doing a lot. She witnessed that and then she appreciate that part a lot. So that happened here and also in the thumbnails.
Sid, I wanted to quickly interrupt you because it looks like Lord has a question about how the storyboard process, evolves into that of animation. Lord, did you want to ask your question or unmute?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes. I was wondering exactly that. How exactly does the storyboard evolve into animation?
All right, that brings me to the next level. After the thumbnails are done and we can you can share the first initial ideas and the rough sketches and the layouts with the client, or if you don't have a client, it's for yourself. Next phase is to do an animatic. Animatic is something that you do before you do the previews. If it's a 3D animation, you have the chance to have your camera, have your characters in front of it, and do a previews. And a lot of times we do animatic as well, which are just the storyboards in most of the time in separate layers with a little movement for the timing of it. So the thumbnails was the first one. This is the second part of the process. So we do the animatic. And we edit and we put sound. As you can see, it almost animates. It's mostly the keyframes without the in-between frames of things, of the actions. As you can see, these are the key moments. As you can see, it is forming almost like a sketch of the animation that you will see later. Sometimes when you have a camera move in a horizontal line, you do a wider frame so your editor can have space to move the camera. It's mostly for the timing of that shot specifically.
Sid, I'm kind of wondering for those participants who are within our audience right now, if they would like to become storyboard artists, what are some recommendations you have for how they could sort of break into that field? Or what are some tips and tricks you might have for them should they want to become storyboard artists or character designers, much like yourself?
The drawing part of it is something that you can practice a lot, and you need to be taught some of that, or the beginning of it. It would be easier if you have a good teacher, and there's a lot of good online classes, or a lot of colleges do that. Life drawing from mind, and imagining things, and the fact that you have to practice to be able to draw what you imagine in your mind. The process between the mind and the brain, and then transfer that into your hand and be able to draw and mostly communicate. They say also in comic books and also storyboarding, the drawings they should be well enough to communicate a visual idea, but you don't need to be Michelangelo for that. uh, and you have to be able to communicate. You have to know a little bit about acting, not to act in front of the camera, but you have to know uh, acting in a sense that you can draw expressions and convey the just a couple of lines. You have to be communicating how the character feels in that scene, and watching a lot of films, not in a sense of just watching them as entertainment, analyzing the films and animations that you like. One thing that I learned as I was starting is to watch a movie that you like or any animation that you like multiple times. So the first time you see it, you're just under the effect of the storytelling, and you're just uh, an audience, and you fall in love with the story. And the second time, you might see some points about the composition or how that camera move works, and some more technical details, and also the language of visual storytelling, and that also you need to study about that too. It's very hard to, but just watching film, you get some ideas, but you need to study, and I can share some good books about that, learning the visual storytelling languages.
That's very much appreciated. Thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome.
Carolina, you asked, how do you keep everything so organized? From my experience, Macs are really not organization friendly.
Uh,
You do have quite an organized desktop, Sid, I must say. It is very
oh,
unusual.
yeah, I delete a lot. That's not, it's not a good recommendation. Uh, but the numbering things, it's when you work on a lot of projects, that's something that you have to do. Otherwise, you're going to lose every file, and especially on the storyboard, since you have a lot of frames, you have to have a system of numbering, and then the simplest one of those is to have numbers and letters, because there are iterations or breakdowns of some movements. You do like, this one is 25C, 25B, 25A, B, and C. This is one of the oldest tricks to do organizing, and then folders. Yeah, a cramped desktop is like, you need meditation, and have the folders be in their own respected places.
That's really great advice, Sid, because I'm conscious when you do join an entry-level role within a specific studio, one of the biggest ways to set yourself apart from your colleagues, even the most senior artists within a studio, is to ensure that your file structure and everything and how you work with your fellow colleagues is all organized. So Carolina brought up a good point. I'm conscious that we only have time for maybe like one more question, unfortunately, because Sid is, we actually don't have as much time with Sid as I would love. So I'm hoping that we could probably bring him back in 2021. With that said, does someone else have another question? Does someone want to?
Actually, I have another question, if I may. Please.
Go ahead, Lord. That would be great.
Thank you. It's just a simple one. Exactly what program do you use for the 2D animation?
The 2D animation part is Moho. TV Paint is also great, but all the pre-production I did on Photoshop, like a drawing thing.
All right. Thank you.
So you can use a lot of those, but the animation itself is, this project was done in Moho.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sid, it's been such a pleasure having you here. And I just wanted to ask you, did you happen to have any final words of advice for our participants as we go back out into the rest of the week off the back of your visit?
Maybe the only thing comes to my mind is to follow the dream. I know it's corny to say that again, but but that's very real. If you feel a strong passion about storytelling, for example, doing storyboards, follow that. If you don't compromise the part that you love for practicality. If you see you're not finding jobs, and you have to do more, make a good portfolio, try again. If you feel that passion, follow it. It's really is going to pay off if you have that energy and passion about anything.
That's beautifully said, and those are wonderful words with which to end our conversation. It's definitely not corny at all. I'm a firm believer that one should always follow their dreams, much like the rest of us collectively feel that way. While this was a very short visit, Sid, and I'm quite sad to.
It was, yeah.
We do hope you'll
Really a
rejoin us in
pleasure.
2021 because you had such beautiful work to share, and I know you have a wealth of other projects that you're also can share with us in the future. So we hope to have you back.
I look forward to it.
Thank you so much once again.